Welcome to our Red Pipe Resellers introduction. Thanks for joining me. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Kevin Lessishare. I've worked in the IT industry since 2001, which even includes a couple of years doing phone support for dial-up customers of a local ISP. I want to start out with, what is Red Pipe? First of all, we are a nationwide provider of 3G, 4G, LTE services, and we've brought Red Pipe to market with the primary purpose of giving our resellers an opportunity to provide failover connection to their end users. And why would you choose Red Pipe? Let's face it, internet connections, and especially land-based ones, fail. In some locations, they fail on quite a regular basis. 90% of these are usually in the last mile, whether it's from rainwater soaking a phone wiring crossbox or a construction crew down the street accidentally cutting your fiber or cable feed. So we know that companies these days depend on internet access for their mission-critical applications, and what Red Pipe allows you to do is to stop outsourcing your failover circuits to the competition. This is particularly important if you represent an ISP. Who wants to open the door for their competitor to offer a failover circuit? Red Pipe also allows you to keep that control in-house by offering the services yourself and earn a residual income on it. And of course, offering a connection that isn't subject to the same kind of interruptions as the conventional land-based internet connections. So what are the benefits? You get a new revenue stream, a free static IP address on each connection, which can be up to $500 depending on other providers that you've looked at. You've got fast failover speeds using LTE-capable devices. There are no long-term contracts or monthly device fees. We do have an MSRP, but you really set your own resale price. And you even have the ability to pool your data to protect you from overages. So how do you become a reseller? If you're here, you are already arrived at our website. Up above, you've got a link to become a reseller. You just briefly fill out the application, and once it's finished, we will go through it, and after it's approved, we'll create an account for you. Once it's approved, you can sign into the store for pricing on data plans, hardware, SIM cards, etc. Using our store link up at the top. You can see it's all here. We've got your price as well as the suggested price for your end user. All right, so on to some boring stuff. All new services are charged a $50 activation fee, which resellers will pass on to their end user at $75. And the first bill for a particular line will include the activation fee, a prorated amount for the first month, and the following full month. We also pass through any applicable state and federal taxes and fees. Now to the not-so-boring stuff. This table is just a rough breakdown to show you what the standard markup is for you as a reseller. This is the 3 primary data plans, and it shows you what your MSRP, or rather what your profit is at MSRP for 10, 50, and 100 lines. Again, this is just the suggested retail price. You are free to sell it at whatever you like. Also, this table only shows you the money you're able to make on the standard monthly data plans. Your other revenue opportunities are there in activation and your hardware pricing. Now on to data pooling. This is where it gets really exciting. So just a quick example of how your data pooling option gives you the chance to really boost your earnings. In this top gray section up here, we are starting with an example of 100 end users with 5 gigabyte plans from the last slide. This calculates out to $27,000 in a year for your profit on those 100 lines. Our next section down here shows the same number of lines, but it's using the data pooling feature. The base price of each line is increased by 10% to add that pooling option, and by signing up 10 of these lines as 10 gigabyte plans and the remainder as 1 gigabyte plans, it adds nearly $3,000 to your total profit for that year. That's more than a 10% increase on what you're making at the base price. depending on what kind of end users you have, the 190 gigabyte plans that you have from that example may be more than enough to cover any kind of overage, any kind of failover that they may have throughout the month. If so, on this last section, you can shift 5 of those 10 gig plans down to 1 gig plans, and your data pool comes down to 145 gigabytes, but it brings your earnings up to nearly 130% of what you're making at the base price. So you can see it jumps quite substantially. As you can see, wisely managing your data pooling is where the money really is. Now on to equipment. We've tested many manufacturers' equipment and have several options to choose from. Of course, the end user, if he already has a piece of equipment that supports failover to 3G or 4G service and has a port to plug in a USB air card or SIM card, then there's no obligation to buy additional equipment. You just buy the pieces that you need to complete that particular setup. And with your account, you can sign into the store and order router SIM cards, USB air cards that you need. Same place as for the data plans, but you can choose your router and our suggested manufacturers. And you can always call us at any time or shoot us an email if you have a particular application, and we can suggest the right piece of equipment for you. All right, and while we're talking about equipment, if your end user has a router that already supports failover to a secondary WAN port but does not have 3G, 4G capability, then we can provide a device in IP pass-through mode that acts as a bridge and allows your static IP address to be assigned to your existing router's interface. On data usage, during the course of the month, if you need to check the data usage for a particular device, you can also check that via our website. You just click on data usage, and all you need is the mobile device number and your email address so that we can get back with you. Currently, this is a manual task for us to check data usage, but we're working on a way to automate that. Right now, you should expect a response from us within 4 business hours Central Time. And if you need any information, always feel free to get with me, Kevin at redpipewireless.com. We'll get an email to my inbox. Got a couple other email addresses here for some other general uses. See the links below to visit our sign-up page or to email us any questions. I appreciate your time, and have a great day.